everyone.
Manjula, please. Oh, 1 second.
Yeah,
I'll let you know. It is going. Yeah,
it's just active for me. Go ahead.
1 second.
Yeah, please
Yes,
do.
Manjula, please.
To go? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prisha. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session of Corporate Talk Show to bring women on GCC, how they are shaping the world today. And today I'm just bringing two of the stellar industry professionals with you who are going to talk about how India is bringing the GCCs as a captive session with innovation, as well as how are they just bringing the opportunities for India growth as well as for our women. And tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and we thought, why should we celebrate only the love for your commitment of relationship? There is something more towards that. Today you can do that. So today we are just going to talk about a love for your ambition, your dreams, and your career. And two of the members whom we are just bringing is exactly going to mimic how they've just taken their career to the next level. And by the way, both of them have clocked silver jubilee in their career, and still they are batting their field, right? And with the same passion, same love, and continue to grow in their career. Before I just introduce to them, why GCC? What is that we are going to talk about GCC? Some of the data pointers, I was just looking at that. By 2024 December, we had 2,900 plus GCCs in India. And by 2030, we are expected to add another 2,000 plus GCCs, which means currently we are talking about 1.9 million employment year and additional of another 2 million to be added by 2030. So that's the opportunity we are talking about, and women are really just shaping the GCC everywhere. And many of times I get a question about it: what is the next opportunity for women? Here is the opportunity, and two of the women are going to come and talk about that. And proud to just bring both of them to you to talk about. Feel free to add your questions here, and happy to answer wherever we can just get a chance to get them, pull them to the discussion. Thank you. And let me bring our first speaker over here, Deepa Parthasarthi. Hi, Deepa. Welcome to the session. And it's a proud moment for me to bring you here for two reasons. One, you are the first person who have just given the opportunity from Cisco as a client. I keep telling when you were not there with everybody. And today I take the moment to talk about it in front of you. And 2017, today I was just looking at the YouTube video to just talk about it, the testimonial, what you have just given. 2017, we have started our journey and we are continuing this relationship. This is the exact way where we are talking about how women holding other women and taking it forward. And happy to know that from Cisco, you just moved on to the Epsilon and Target, and today you are a senior director AI. And I do personally know the kind of effort you put for learning and taking your career to the next level. Amazing, and hats off to your effort. Thank you, Deepa, and welcome to the show. Say a few words about her second innings and about you for our audience.
Hey, sure. Thank you. It's indeed a pleasure to be here after so many years of our first connect over a similar conversation, and it was also a virtual session at that time. So my relationship with with her second innings go way back, and the determination to bring women back to workforce after a break in career. It was a charter that you started with, and it's very, I feel extremely proud to see how far your commitment to this has come, and through the process, how many women have joined you in this journey, and how many people have benefited from this initiative, in Bangalore and pan India, and also in Canada right now. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you so much. And it means a lot. And your words were the first things which has just made us to just bring more client confidence to make that happen. my love and my thank you always from myself and from our community. Thank you so much. Good. And we have another stellar performer over here. Let me just introduce Saraswati, and she is another amazing professional we are all going to experience today. One person where you can just find out committed to the career and equally committed to the social engagements. She never said no, right? And I just wonder how she just manages the show. And she spent enough hours on her duty on top of it, and she just takes care of the people. Lovely to just see her journey where I just saw her. So she's just started her career in Wipro and moved on to the Cisco. And from there, she again went to the city and then again with a light cast. So many different journey from your communication to the banking and to the analytics today. And every time the kind of a learning what she does, that amazing. And one more input we are going to learn from her. How she just moved from the director to the MD is a crux where she's going to talk about today. So wait on and let's just listen to her and welcome Saraswati. Honor to be having you today and few words from you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Manjula. And what a delight to be with equally accomplished women. Thank you for having me. And, I'm sitting in a bright, sunny day it is. And it is a pleasure to see such brightness with so many other women. You're sparking that brightness with them. And thank you for all the journey you have taken in ensuring you bring a lot more women to workforce. I think you're doing a lot more than we imagine to do. So we need more of you, Manjula. And Deepa, such a pleasure to be with you in the panel. And Manjula, continue to do this. More power to you.
Thank you. When all of us are together, of course, we are just rocking together. Thanks for being together, and let's do it together. All right. So let's just start the big picture now. I was just talking about so much about the GCC growing, etc., and open the discussion about it. What is that big picture for all about, and what is that opportunity we are holding today? Let's start with Deepa. So Deepa, India is becoming a GCC hub for global innovation. Everybody knowing about it. Please tell us about it, how it is shaping India's prosperity and the opportunity for women. Where do you see us?
So like you mentioned, India is becoming a magnet, for all of these global capability centers, right? They used to be called captive centers before and such, and today it is capability center, and rightly so, right? What started in India as a cost arbitrage, when companies came in because of the benefits that they got due to inexpensive labor, today has grown to attract the best of the best talent globally. Cost still is an added advantage, but that's not primarily the reason why companies are coming here. And like you mentioned, there's been a lot of GCCs that have come here and continue to, right, over the next few years. We're just going to see a major explosion of the number of companies that make its way to India. What that means to say is, we are no longer today. Technology is changing, at a pace that it never has. What used to be automation 2-3 years back is AI today, and we don't know what could be coming up. So we are all in a field where we are, there is a level field for all of us, right? Both men and women. An opportunity where tribal knowledge is no longer an absolute relevance, right? You have a clean slate for everybody to start off. And with each of these GCCs coming up, we are looking at 2, 3, 4, 5,000 opportunities, that will show up with every company, if not more. So that means to say that, every individual, who's motivated, who is on top of their game has an equal play in how they leverage the opportunities that come in with each of these companies. What I will do is I can have Saraswati add more to this, but this is really an exciting time for all us to be out here in the market and to make the most out of what is available and what has to come.
Go ahead, Saraswati, please chime in.
Thank you, Deepa. So before even I answer the GCC answer, right, Manjula, because it's been several years now I've been part of data analytics and I love numbers. And I think when we speak number, it speaks volume of why women, right? It is not a DEI initiative. 50% of the workforce is women. So if we ignore that, then we are actually not catering to the world economy, right? So it's not because we are women, but because we add value. So while we are talking about GCCs, we are also moving towards the value center, right? That's what it's going to be called, global value centers. Now, if we just look at the number, women today are spending 31.8 trillion worldwide. 85% of US population, the influence and control is by women. And purchasing power of women in US is ranging anywhere between 5 trillion to 15 trillion. Women purchase over 50% of male products, right? They are the decision makers, even for male, forget about women's, right? And then there used to be a time where big ticket items like buying a home was man's decision. What kind of vacation we go to was man's decision. And today, if we look at it, 91% of new homes are bought by women. And about 89% of boys' toy, which is the car or automobiles, women make that decision. 92% of which vacations where we go is again decision is made by women. And all the gadgets, whether it is laptop or smartwatch, women are making 95% of that decision, right? So, and that's why you see gone are the days where Ford said, if you want black, that's the only color you get of the car. That's why you see a pink color, rose gold iPhone to where the laptops come with various colors. Now, if the decision power is with women, and if we don't bring in women to be part of the workforce, whether it is GCC or otherwise, the products will not sell, the services will not sell. And that is why there is so much potential and there's so much need for women to get to workforce. Now, like you and Deepa said, we are growing. What does it mean to a woman? While we are growing, at least in India, there is a lens that has been put saying, okay, metros are getting saturated. Can we look at tier 2 cities? So my ask would be, there are enough opportunities in tier 2. Don't get swayed by the fancy of the metros, right? I think that's one key opportunity that exists that we neglect. And the other thing is really chalking out the strategy roadmap for oneself and for the organization. That's the differentiation women can bring in as well. So because much has been said about GCC, I'll not talk about it again, but I think from a women perspective for GCC, be open to tier 2 cities, because that is going to be the paradigm shift in how GCCs are going to be set up. Many US specific top Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies are already there. The new ones that are coming are all APAC based, where cost conscious is also higher to start with, but the value ask is much higher, right? So tier 2 cities, be open, be the driving force. That you should be able to blur that line between headquarters and India, right? Be the driving force and make them your equal partner and step up and say, what can India do for you? And that's what I would say would be the differentiation that all women and every woman can make in GCC or otherwise, Manju.
Well said. Thank you for sharing that, where the purchase power comes from women now. It has changed the game. I was recently seeing a meme talking about husband says that I take a major decision at my home. They were asking, what's that? I control what channel I wanted to watch. I just decide who has to come for the country. The rest of my home is taken care by my wife. That's what we are talking about today. The power has been shifted over here.
And then they just have to nod saying yes to the decision women make.
True, right? And honestly, nowadays it has also bypassed that, saying that we don't even wait for the nod. We are just going ahead with that, right? I no offense to anybody, but I'm just telling that's the power where we are
The
going.
lighter moment.
Lighter moment of better, right? That's where it is. So now we back in days we were all used to talk about it, saying that we need to have a seat at the table. That's how we started. I think early days, that's where we are. Now it's happy to see that we are the people who are creating the table. The only wish we should have it over here is we should have enough chairs so that we don't get into that back discussion for everybody. So that's where I would like to just give the thought and then move forward for our next question to understand. We understood now the GCC changing the game, and we are becoming the innovation hub and the capability and capacity center to just take care of the other countries' need over here, which is a very exactly we are just understanding about it. Now tell us about it. How, and you also very nicely said, Saraswati, where it is no longer a DEI initiative, it is an equal opportunity for both of us, for men and women. So there is no diversity is coming into the picture. It is a need and it is the reality which has to be worked. So how is that we are looking for organization to just change the game, wherein also women is actually finding there is enough opportunity to work on it. Just chime in, both of you, to share your ideas, and we will just figure it out, the next part of it, how from there we can go forward. Go ahead, Deepa.
Saraswati.
So if I understand the question, Manjula, is what is the opportunity women have, or what opportunities organizations can give for women, right?
Yes, how organization is shaping that current structure to come and play a equal game in the organization as a men and women together, where we are not looking at the gender as a lens. It's a performance, it's a playground where we have to play. How are we just doing it, and how women are coming towards to tap in those opportunities?
Sure. So Manjula, I think your answer, you only said, right, in the question, saying obviously there has to be policies that enable, but when it comes to opportunity, it is equal opportunity. There's no differentiation between a man and a woman. If there is an opportunity and you can grab, that's it. And when it comes to any critical project or opportunities, nobody's going to wait for, obviously there will be somebody who we always are humans, we are always biased, and we induce that even in AI. But without letting that bias, can you raise your hand and say, I will take this? And this taking up opportunity is, if I can be as honest I can be, not choosing cultural activity. I'm not saying don't do it, not choosing engagement activity, but what is business critical project that one can take. While we continue to push the boundary of how women are included, not just women, how everybody is included in the organization, right? It can be any gender, it can be anybody, but I think women have more power to push that boundary than men, because it's set and established for men. For women, we need to keep pushing that boundary. And while doing that, biggest gift women have is also the emotional quotient. So be more inclusive in pushing that boundary, right? So organizationally, yes, there can be policies which will give flexibility. I think organizations have come a long way. We have come from an era where women are not allowed in marathon to now we are reaching 50% workforce. And that's a big step. Going beyond this, I don't think we should ask. We should we should come up with policies mandate, because we have enough workforce to be able to install that policy by ourselves now, right? So no asking, go do it, grab the opportunity is what I would say, Manjula.
Awesome. Very nice. Deepa, would you like to share something along with that?
Yeah. Additionally, we are still in, corporate is a team sport. It's not an individual sport, right? So you still need to have, a very, very strong network. Men and women more than men, right? You need to have this tribe coming together to help you become a better version of yourself. Not every day is going to be cool. Not every day is going to be great. Not every day is going to be easy. But having a tribe that will help you navigate this journey is very, very crucial. So therefore, having this community, that helps you determine the best course of action for you to be able to manage your personal and professional career is very, very critical, right? Again, having sponsors, very important. Putting your hands up, taking those initiatives, very important. I will once again call out what Saraswati said, is that, do not take on things which look easy. Do not take on things where it can be very, easily labeled as something that women should do, right? Things that I have seen happen early in my career is, we would be in a meeting and, somebody who takes minutes of the meeting, today Copilot does it. Minutes of the meeting, it's always a lady in the room who puts her hand up to do it, right? So how do we consciously, change these? Companies will have all kinds of, positive policies and programs, but, what do you do? It's a mindset change. It is what you lead with that you become. So therefore, how do you live it, every day? So I guess all of these, have a huge role to play. Yet another thing, not too long back, I think, Saraswati and I were having this conversation saying, companies that probably still don't do a great job today is, maternity leave, right? That we were talking about, saying, today women get maternity leave. Men, if they got paternity leave, they would also know what it is to, of course they get it, but it's like,
Yes.
2-3 weeks now, right? But if we were talking about having initiatives and programs which are equal for men and women, this is probably one area that companies can think about, saying, hey, can we at least provide a platform for men to have an equal opportunity to take care of, of a child, within 0 to 12 months of, the child's, days in, on this earth. So I guess these are some of the things that, that come to my mind when we talk about, what corporates are doing, and therefore how women can take not just the advantage of what they have, but take it beyond that, to see this, what is going to help them to become, way more successful in the years to come.
So be inclusive, ask for more paternity leave.
Yeah. To the women here.
Well said. Both of you have really just brought a nice pointer where Saraswati was saying, no need to be in a ask mode, get into a tell mode. You tell what you want and get it done, right? So that's the one thing where we are just hearing about it, and most of the time we are doing that too. Happy to know that. And second point she nicely brought about, take something which is a business critical. Don't just get into that what is not okay. You just go for a business critical so that you would be appreciated, you would be counted for the opportunity. So that's another very good point. And then the first point reflected on a very good part of it. If you're talking about equal opportunity, why don't we just give good holidays for them to just take care of your baby, and they also just experience what, so that they will become more inclusive. Thank you. Very good point is where we have just talking. But for audience, I'm just going to ask you something from your end. If at all you're looking for one skill, what you wanted to brush up and be over here for the next journey, or what is that skill is going to be, just put it on our chat. We will just figure it out, because that my next question to both of them is going to be skill. Let's see what are they going to talk about it. Okay, good. And Deepa and Saraswati, the AI and automation are the new trending terminologies as such, where we are also seeing the changes are rapidly just going about it. What is that your version of the technology change, how we are adapting? More than that, I really wanted to take this as a personal question for you, because I know both of you, the kind of a effort you spend on learning. I sometimes envy about you and the kind of a work what you do and the kind of a learning. Tell us, by adding your personal story, what is that learning all for you and how you are navigating the tech changes for yourself? Please go ahead and tell us about your journey.
I can start, right? So 26 years in this industry, and graduated at a time where we were talking about Fortran and COBOL, and C had just kind of come in, right? Journey from there to where we are today, has been, it's night and day, and everything changes, every few years. What's important is to keep up with the changes. And more than ever, the number of learning platforms available today are plenty and abundant. For you to be in the industry where you are leading some of the trending, tech changes, if you're not making yourself relevant in terms of your ability to to understand what is happening, it's very easy to fade away. So therefore, it's critical for us to continue to make the effort to know what's happening in the industry, to be able to collaborate with people, who are on this journey, and really be very intentional about the learning phase, right? So there is no dull moment here. There was that gone are those days wherein you said, hey, you can continue doing what you're doing, as long as you're happy with it, right? Today things are changing so fast. You cannot just do what you were doing, a few years back. So for me, very, very intentionally, I have changed my role every 2 years. And what it does, and I have said this, multiple times, is I become an intern, in a new space once every 2 years. So the agility to learn, unlearn, relearn is very integral to my very being, right? And that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me humble, because I'm constantly in the space of being uncomfortable. So being out of my comfort zone is what has helped me, in my career journey.
Awesome. Very good to hear about that. You become intern every 2 years. Nice to hear that. And I just wanted everybody to resonate with that. That's how we learn. The more you just learn, and you have to unlearn and learn every time we step into that, which you are amazingly doing about it. But still, I have not got your answer. Again, I'm going to probe about it. Tell me the hours you spend for your learning at currently. Give me an approximate hours.
So, Manjula, I am at a phase of my career where, my daughter is out of home, right? She's no longer with me. We are all at a different phase in our career journey. I spend a lot of hours studying, primarily because I don't have to care for, a child at home, which could be very different for each one of us. But I spend significant hours, with especially weekends. I do spend a lot of time in understanding what's happening around me. It may not be the same for everybody, and I don't really think you should take this as the only way to do it. But it's important. So figure out, podcasts are there. Listen to it when you're working out or working per se. Make it a habit to learn something. Spend at least 20-25 minutes a day picking up on something. I think having a regular habit makes it very easy for you to learn. So yes, short answer is I spent many hours.
Very good. And okay, so the last again, and that I'm just going to go back to Saraswati, which is your latest certification you are done, and when did you do that? That gives other answer for us to get the perspective. Please go ahead.
Is it for me?
Yeah, it's for you.
It's for me. Okay.
I'm just taking it from you. Please go ahead.
It was AWS cloud certification.
Lovely. That is the power, right? When I'm just probing, this is where we are just going to do it. And she spends enough time, long hours for the work, and she comes back and says that, no, I have to study, which is really amazing. Of course, she said that I don't have a responsibility. Kid has just moved out of that college, but nevertheless, the appetite, the willingness is something where we need to be learning, and then that's how the growth comes over there. Saraswati, please go ahead, and there is one question also just coming about the skill. Pick it up and then go ahead and tell us about that.
Deepa, very interesting, and I probably was nodding more than I should have. But when you hear good thing, you always go, yes, yes, yes. Manjula, we are humans. We don't intend to become dinosaurs. If we don't want to be extinct, we need to learn. There's no two ways. And we call ourselves professionals. I don't think there is any doctor who doesn't keep upskilling themselves. Our lives are at risk. The labor laws are changing. Governance is changing. Laws are changing. So all lawyers are constantly learning. All CAs are constantly learning. So we are no different. And if we don't, we will become extinct, right? And we'll move from humans to dinosaurs again. I think I resonated so much with Deepa said. From the time I have started to now, every technology has changed. And it should. And that's the power of technology, right? And to me, that is also an advantage. We might miss a technology in between, but something new comes in 1 year. So if you're in a phase where, like Deepa said, you just have to balance too many things, just keep going, right? Just keep going with what you are doing, but use the next window that comes up to learn what is next. And you're probably ahead of the race then. So during my maternity leave, it was 84 days then. That's when I started my MBA, I started my PMP certification, whatnot, right? And continue to do that. There's so much in the world and we cannot learn it all. I think what is important is knowing where you want to go. And for that, what skill you need to learn. Because everything is interesting, right? Today it's ChatGPT, then tomorrow it's DeepSeek. Absolutely, you should know what's happening. But get expertise in one of those. And that is what I constantly focus on. Where do I want to reach next? And spend a lot more time on learning that, vis-a-vis also spending time on what else is happening, right? Because at a certain level, you need to know what is happening around you. You need to be able to talk about it, but you also need to get to the depth of few things. Okay? That's where I'll stop. But to the point of, I think, like you said, there's a question, what skill? Today, everything is AI. AI and automation, right? And AI can literally automate 70-80% of the work. It's like using robot, which doesn't clean the corner where you have to clean. So 70% of your work is done using AI. But the rest 30% requires a deep, in-depth knowledge. It requires intuition. It requires understanding of the market, understanding of the business. So I would say investing more time and effort in understanding market and domain, whatever domain that you want to spend, that is going to be a differentiator. You can learn so many tools with it. Yesterday it was SAS, today it's Python, and tomorrow it's going to be different. So tool is next, and AI can write the code today, right? There's a lot of time I just use SQL query with ChatGPT. But becoming an expert in a tool, and specifically AI tool, if you're interested, maybe even developing an AI tool, that is very different from just writing Python code. And developing a tool that is specifically for your domain and for the market takes you at a very different different level. So leveraging AI to cater to the market need, that is the 30%. On a very lighter note, AI can do everything else, but the 30% is priceless.
True. Agree. Right. So probably we'll just give them the 80-20 principle. Let 80% AI does it and 20% is a mastery lies with you. So that just gives them the clarity. Thanks for just bringing that, right? So probably I'm just going to go to our next segment. But before that, I just wanted to probe as usual. Give me emoji of your leadership style. If I have to call out emoji for your leadership style, what that emoji would be? Deepa and Saraswati, one emoji to talk about your leadership style. Something?
Oh, I'll have to ask my daughter, honestly, because
Oh,
I only use one emoji, and that is smiley emoji. She's like, you don't use it for everything, but that's what I know. So I don't know too much of emoji, sorry.
very good. Okay.
Just smile and laugh, two things.
Good. I appreciate the way you're just taking it. So probably then I'll put you in a different way. Give me three, maybe okay, maybe not even that. Give me one movie character where it mimics your leadership style. Probably now. Just see whether this can be answered.
I would say Shah Rukh Khan of Chak De, because for
Super.
me, getting the outcome and doing it for the organization comes before self, right? Doing what is best. I mean, in the movie, he talks about doing best for the country. I'm like, look, because I get paid. I don't go for the pay, but I am working for an organization and doing what is best for the organization. It might be hardship, it might be being stern, it might be friendly, emotional, whatever it takes to getting the best for the organization is how I would think of my leadership style as. So it's basically a mix of various styles, because as a leader, you should be agile, you should be adaptable. So depending on what it is, I do tend to adapt myself to the situation. But yeah, Shah Rukh Khan and he's not my favorite hero, it is Hrithik Roshan, but still Shah Rukh Khan of Chak De.
Lovely, good, very good. Thanks for just being spontaneous about it. So let me just give that opportunity for Deepa also to make it spontaneous. So what is that movie character you would like to just correlate for your leadership style, Deepa?
Oh my God, when Saraswati was answering, I was like, will I get the same question? Then I have to figure out, because I don't, yeah, I can't relate so much to movies, but one movie that comes to my mind is Shawshank Redemption, right? And so, and here, this is again a jail setting, and what freedom really means when you've been in jail so long. And when he is able to negotiate for beer for all his co-prisoners, when he doesn't drink and he sees them drink and feels happy about it, it says a lot about what it means to be a team player. And the other things that really come to my mind is relationship over issues, right? In any environment, it goes a long way, right? Any issue can be very amicably resolved when your relationships, when the trust that you have with people around you is very, very very strong. Leadership style therefore is very very adaptable, similar to what Saraswati has been calling out, right? And putting the team and the organization about yourself is what leadership is all about. The minute you start thinking you first, I think you've lost it, as a leader. So therefore, it's very critical to understand that you get into these roles only if and only if you can think about others and you can think about what's right for the org before you think about what's right for you.
Wow, happy to just resonate. Both of you are talking about saying that I have to take care of the organization, and I'm just applying the leadership to take care of the organization. That gives me the growth. I think that was an important lesson for all of us to do, because many a times when we see growth, we think, oh, what should I do? What's in it for me? Just that. But putting that things to the other side of the table and looking at that, no, I am working for that organization. Let that organization grow. That's my growth. Just sharing a new perspective or a different perspective for people to take it out, because everyone is just going to just look at you and then take the inputs one on the other, whatever resonates for them, not all the inputs, whatever resonates to them. I'm hoping that this is going to be another input where they can pick it up and then take this forward. So with this, I would like to just pick up a next segment to just look at that. Because of the timing, I'm also just looking at that. How do I clap together and then ask this part of it? So probably give me insights for 3 segments of people who are starting and aspiring to just get into the GCC, how they should just look at their trajectory of a growth journey, how they have to look into them. People who are just taken a break, wanted to come back, how they should look at the trajectory. And people like you who are in the movement of getting into the next level, what is that they should look into that. So take them on a 3 journey and tell us about how do we spin the movement and then take every one of that to come to the growth journey.
I can take a shot. I can do it for a bit. So I'm going to reiterate, learning agility is mandatory, irrespective of you starting or you kind of, in the mid phase, or it's a 35-40 year journey for most of us today, right? And it's said to be a marathon, not a sprint. So therefore, plan your journey really well. Nothing really needs to happen today, or nothing's going to happen later is not the way to go about it, right? You have all the time to plan it well and to balance, what you need both on, personal and professional side. So therefore, be very, very conscious and intentional about making sure that you make the most out of your career, but in the process of doing it, don't miss out on all the fun that you will want to have in your personal friend, irrespective of what age group you are and where you are in terms of your career. Now, looking at a point that Saraswati called out was so relevant. Technology for the sake of technology is no longer how the industry is going to work, right? So how you take the technology and put it in, let's say, a retail setting or put it in a healthcare setting is what is important. So therefore, having the subject matter expertise, as it relates to the field where you're applying the technology becomes very, very relevant. This is where science and technology really blend and marry in most cases today. So you could have started your career in any field. You can always move to the technology field, right? With all the opportunities available for you to be able to learn. Similarly, even if you're in technology field, it becomes very, very relevant for you to understand the domain of where you're going to be applying the technology. This is again relevant for all 3 categories of people that you classified, Manjula. People during break, I think one thing that they more often than not become good at is most people take break for caregiving, right? Either a child or a parent or a spouse, and I think they become exceptionally good when it comes to multitasking and project management, right? So look at how you're able to take here you're project managing things at home. That is one domain, right? How do you put it to a domain that you're going to go and work in is how you want to be able to both envision how you're going to be able to do it and communicate how you're going to do it. Industry is all about knowledge and your ability to sell what you know, right? It's not just important that you know what you know, but how you are able to articulate what you know and convince somebody that you can do this for, for them. So these are all the skills that I think, become very, very mandatory for you, as you grow your career. And I will let Saraswati kind of take over the other aspects of it and continue.
Thanks, Deepa. I think so I've worked in services organization, I've worked in product organization, I've worked in GCC, right? If somebody aspires to be in GCC, what is different? I think what is different is the fact that you are part of the whole ecosystem. Understanding what is the parent organization goal? How do we make money in the business? How do we add value to that? And getting a domain expertise becomes very important. So if you are going for an interview for the GCC and look at their revenue, look at their financial earnings that they have shown every quarter, every year, every quarter that gets published, you should be able to talk about it in the interview, right? Look at what domain they are in. How can you apply what you have done before into that domain and talk about it? And the other key factor is also when you're in GCC, taking up ownership and driving strategic value is key because you're part of the organization now, right? It's not like delivering a project and it's over. It's understanding what value I can add. How do I take ownership for that value? That is key as well. And like I said, it's not just delivering a project, but understanding the long-term impact that I can drive. I, as in the whole team, right? It's not individual. And taking that end-to-end responsibility. When you understand the domain, when you understand what we are doing, how we are adding value, how can we understand how we make money? Everybody is in the business for money. Then the picture of innovation comes into picture. Because now you understand what is going to be the differentiator. Then you can start adding creativity to it and then bring in the innovation, and that's the value. Just to give a perspective of how is GCC different, because we talked so much about GCC, right? Now, if you're starting off in the journey in the beginning of your career or have taken a break, brilliant. You just need to have the confidence and belief in yourself. Often what happens if we are not in the race, we have this FOMO that we are losing out on something, and we often miss out on the confidence. And as women, there are enough studies that says that unless we are 100% sure 100% of the job description matches, we don't even bother to apply. And if we are already going with a back foot, saying, oh, I do not know this, how will I clear the interview? That's going to backfire us, right? We have nothing to lose. If not this, there is something else. But the whole world is equally yours. So have that confidence. And then, of course, like we talked, in the initial days, it is about understanding domain. It's about applying that technology a little bit, not little bit, deep hands-on expertise. That is what gets measured at the entry level, right? As you move to the mid-level, it is how can you get the execution done? It's managing the team, showing that leadership and accountability. But as you move to the leadership, from manager to leadership, it's not just getting the execution or delivery done, but it is also moving above the execution, because manager, you are looking at execution and delivery, but leadership is all about vision, long-term strategy, having a plan to reach that vision. So develop that strategic goal that is oriented towards this vision. Look ahead, visualize, and think of how we are going to add value to the organization, to the future of the organization, and start positioning yourself as that person, right? I don't know, somewhere somebody had told me this, and I still believe in that, is if you want to get there, start being like that, right? And that will already take you. Last but not least, network, irrespective of what stage you are in your career. Network, collaborate, get sponsors. It's not what people speak of you when you're here, but how many people can advocate for you when you're not there. You cannot have 100% of the people advocate for you. There might be one or two who will not advocate for you, but there'll be 8 other people out of the 10 in the room that will advocate for you, and those become your sponsors. So network beyond your office, in the office, cross teams, because you should have those sponsors.
Lovely.
I'll
Good.
stop there, Manjula.
Thank you. Thanks for just giving a detailed information of how we should just look at that. So in a nutshell, both of them are saying is go for it, strive for it, learn for it, and excel. That's what they are just saying about it, right? So seek help, give help, and take help. That's the only way we can just grow together. Help, help, help. That's a mantra, I would say that, and that's where Saraswati is chiming in. Network, and you should have 8 people. If you want 8 people to be talk about you, you should have at least helped 16 to 24 people. Otherwise, that 8 number will not come, right? That's where is the math all about. So keep helping people, and it will come back. How? We don't know, but it will come back. So that's my belief too. Thanks for just sharing about that. So let me just take a moment of pause to just again reflect on it, of a little bit of your personal data pointer for us. Give us about one book or one quote which keeping you moving forward. What is that one would be? Rapid fire round. You're not thinking. Go ahead. Deepa, go for it.
Who moved my cheese?
All right. Okay, nice. Okay, Saraswati.
I will say 2 quotes actually, Manjula. Tough times don't last, tough people do. There will always be difficult times, but how we are resilient to it is what defines us. And I really like Jeff Bezos' quote, and I have it written on the wall. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to reinvent or invent yourself out. So, and to me, that's like every difficult situation there, or every hardship, there is a solution. We just have to think outside the box and work towards it. It's not just thinking. Ambition is good, but we should also work towards it.
Nice. And before, I'm just getting into the questions are coming up, but before that, one more I would like to ask, which is the one mentor you will call? Again, I don't want 2, 3 mentors. One mentor, whole along, one you wanted to remember today. Who is that? We will talk about that mentor and say one good thanks to them. Saraswati, go for it. Who's that one mentor you wanted to count today?
Manjula, I've been blessed to have many great managers and many great mentors. And I don't know why I'm getting Shah Rukh Khan, but you know, in DDLJ, there is that line which says, "Ab kisi ki aankh achhi hai, to kisi ki naak achhi hai, to hot achhi hai." So for me, you know, I learn from each mentor's very different style. And, you know, as much as I would learn from my mother, I learned from my father, right? Different perspective. So similarly, each of my mentors bring different perspective. And the learning that I get from each one of them, if I name one, I would be doing injustice to all the others. So.
Okay, still you're not given an answer. We are disqualifying for this round, rapid fire round. We'll go with Deepa. Please go ahead, Deepa.
Then I will go with the tribe, and I'll get disqualified too, because the reality is there are so many people, who who have helped you shape the way you are. Some of them may not even identify themselves as having been our mentors, right? But you inherently learn so much from people around you, right? All the way, like Saraswati mentioned, from your parents to your siblings to your teachers to to people at work and outside work. There isn't one single name, right? But as I started my corporate journey as a people leader, my coach has really been very instrumental in in how I have shaped myself. So I guess, there's somebody who said, saying that, hey, the sculpture is beautiful, how did it get to be? And then they say, "Hey, the sculpture was always there, all that I did was, take away all the unwanted rocks, right? I just chisel them away, right?" So in that process, I think, all of us have those potential. It's about, how people come to help, knock off or chisel off some of those unwanted layers off of you, so that the true self, comes out. And I think we're all still in the journey, right? We still have people who come and, help us chisel away those things that are, that are not needed. So I, along with Saraswati, choose to get disqualified.
Brilliant. And I purposefully was pulling you just to show that's a reality. Day in, day out, we meet people. People are shaping without even qualifying as a mentor. Day in, day out, we get that. That's a reality. And thanks for both of you mimicking, though I was just pulling you, saying that I need one mentor, coming back and saying that whatever it is, but we are having a multiple mentor, and we wanted to just be thankful, mindful for them. Thank you so much for sharing that, right? So now let me go back to the questions what has come, because otherwise it is injustice for us to complete the conversation. Let's quickly move on and asking that, Deepa, there is a question for you. Deepa mentioned the book Who Moved My Cheese. Deepa, do you have any advice to handle change and adapt to change in technologies and the workplace? Please go ahead, Deepa.
Do you have advice to handle change? I would say be flexible, but if anything, if you're in a position where you can be that change, bring in that change, do that. Right? You don't necessarily have to always follow a change. You could be the change, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in in a large scale setting to begin with, right? Your change could be small changes that you bring in. So do that. Change is constant. If you don't, changes will happen, right? They happen to you. They are forced onto you. If you do not embrace it, even more important, just be that change. So it makes it so much simple. Then you have complete control of, what you're doing and how you're handling it. One other, book that I am a big fan of is Atomic Habits, right? I guess in combination of Who Moved My Cheese and Atomic Habits, I think it's, to me, that would be a deadly combination of how you are able to transform things for yourself and for, for people around you.
Deepa, if I can just add to that, at least from my experience, right? Change becomes easy if you know why. Understand why there is a change. Then you not only understand how to navigate that, you will also become advocate of that change. Like I said, be the change. And that's part of the leadership journey that you will realize. You need to understand the big picture. You don't follow anything that is told to you. But if you understand, sometimes you might not even be convinced, but if you know the reason, you know what needs to be done for that, then you become the part of the journey. That's how you adapt to the change.
Right. Thanks for just sharing that. And I would also mimic with Deepa saying that if you just go to the atomic habits and realize that what it is, a small tiny things is becomes easy for us without effortlessly to put it across. And that was an amazing book for everyone to go through that and take a small step and understand why. Both will just put us ease for us to move forward with that. So the next question is just to become a director, what skills we should have that. I'm probably going to put this first to Saraswati to talk about it. Saraswati, I just wanted you to just tell us about it. Recently you moved that position from become an MD, right? What is that you did to make that happen? Probably that will just kindle our thoughts to think, oh, this is also one of the way. Please tell us about it.
I think I briefly touched upon it previously also, Manjula. How do you start thinking of just from execution to cross project, understanding organization priorities. I might be very comfortable in my skin to do things that I know, but how do I learn? See, for example, in my role of legal, finance, um, labor laws are things that are very different from what I had done before, right? Because previously it was just doing the work or, managing the business unit. From managing one business unit to multiple business unit, how do you start learning about this? And Deepa and me have been in this journey together where we actually went ahead and did courses for this, right? Gives you an understanding and exposure. So like I said, how do you understand where you want to be? Draw out that line and say, this is where I want to be 2 years down the line. Now start acting towards it, saying, what are the steps I need to take to reach that level? What is my, be very self-critical, saying, what is my gap? And start filling those gaps and start working towards it so that you understand the crux and details of it. You might already know, but if you have a gap, fill those gaps. That gives you the confidence. And as women, I think somebody has asked also, saying we have imposter syndrome. Everybody has, but as women, we have it more, right? There are times where I've sat back and said, do I really know this? Am I as good? Can I really do this? But believe me, nobody is different. It's just that we are very, very, very self-critical about themselves. And that's where you need a mentor who will tell you, you're good. That's where you need network of women who are there for you, who have gone through this journey, who can share saying, hey, I've been there. It's very natural. Just get over it. And this is how you can get over it. Or, I am there for you. Sometimes somebody saying, I'm there for you means a lot. Because as you grow, they say it becomes very, very lonely because you have to make so many decisions in a day and that burns out your mind. But if you take your people along, if you have people that you can speak to, you will get over this hurdle of imposter syndrome. And that's why it's important to talk to people, have that network, have enough women who have gone through similar things where you can talk to them, trust them and take them along. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Deepa, would you like to say a few words about it?
Yeah, so so I will quote from Saraswati's journey, right? The empty role did not happen overnight and did not happen magically, right? She went on this journey for at least 5 years, right? When she decided that that is where she wanted to land, and she worked her way towards it. And it's not an overnight success story, right? It's a lot of grit, determination, hard work, and an absolute clarity on where she was heading that got her to it, right? What we get to see is where she landed, but there's a lot of effort that went behind, right? So yet another thing that I will leave in people's mind is, somebody is going to do the job, right? So why shouldn't it be you? Somebody will take that role, somebody will do it, and when you see that somebody there, you will be like, hey, there are several times you look at it and say, I could have done it way better than them. I probably had more skills. I knew way more. But if because your self-doubt, or that's most women have this issue of critiquing themselves way more than they really need to. If you just got over, if it's one habit that we can get over as women, I think it is self-critique, for wrong reasons, right? So if you are able to get over that, I think everything else falls in place, and it is a journey.
Perfect. What a powerful conversation. I love it, right? And happy to just, you brought that point, Deepa, about Saraswati. It has not happened overnight for Saraswati, the journey. It's she had a clarity and she worked for close to 5 years to see where she is. And taking from your conversation, every 2 year when you change, you also have a clarity and move forward. This is the reality. Nothing comes on the plate and say, yeah, you take it. It doesn't come for us. We work for it, we make it. So thanks for just sharing the beautiful insights and wonderful conversation I had with both of you. As usual, when I bring people, it's a good learning, and I'm gifted to have all of you just come and then feed me with the data. And you have just given enough for us and for our community today to just ponder, reflect, and then take steps as well. Both of you are very navigated in a very simplistic way to take this conversation forward. And I love the conversation. I love to thank you. Tomorrow is a Valentine's Day, but we'll be Valentine as well, to just say we are together in the journey as a women holding each other. And let's also commit for, while celebrating for love, let's also celebrate our ambition, dreams, and career together. And thank you so much for being with us today, Deepa and Saraswati. Love you.
Thank you for having us.
Much.
Right. Once again, thanks for our community member for being with us today. And a couple of things I would like to just share that. And with the kind of a people we bring, being together in the tribe and make use of our Her Second Innings network. And a couple of announcements also I would like to bring it so that you can pass out to the right women who wanted to, even for men for that matter. So every Wednesday, there is a career conversation. Please join that. It is a free conversation for tool for you to understand how to navigate. So that's happening. Please join us. And this 27th, we are opening the RPA development free course. It is a free 4 weeks course happening for you. Enroll for it, pick it up. And March being a Women's Day is coming up, we do have a mentoring sessions. And this time we are having 10 plus tracks you to be part of it. You can be a mentee, you can be a mentor, whatever the way it suits for you. Just be together. Let's make sure every woman whom we are just seeing in our life are empowered and they are ambitious to just take care of their financial decision and love their self. So with that, signing off, team, it was really wonderful to be with you with the two amazing women whom I love personally to be with them. And I learn a lot. I hope in this discussion, you would have also learned something from them. And wishing you all the best. Enjoy your career and see you soon. Take care. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us, Manjula.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.